Hi, this is Jonathan Ginsberg. I'm a Social Security disability attorney, and today I'd like to talk to you about misconceptions that I hear frequently about the amount of earnings credits you have to be fully insured for Title II disability. Now, Title II disability is the type of disability that you get when you've paid into the system, as compared to SSI, which is basically a welfare program for folks who have not paid enough in. In order to be insured, you have to have worked for approximately 20 out of the last 40 quarter hours or 5 out of the last 10 years. For younger folks, it's a little bit lower, but basically that's the big picture. So how do you earn earnings credits? Well, under the law, in 2017, for example, if you earn $1,300, you get 1 credit. So that means obviously 2 credits would be $2,600, 4 credits, $5,200. So if you earn $5,200 in 2017, you have earned all 4 credits you can possibly get for 2017. In 2016, it was $1,260. It changes every year, but you kind of get the picture. So again, for 2017, it's $1,300. Now, obviously, if you earn $5,200, that's the minimum you would need for all 4 work credits. That has nothing to do with how much money you actually get when you are actually approved for disability. If you earned only $5,200 every year for the last 10 years, you're going to get a lot less from disability when your SSDI is approved than if you'd earned $50,000 or $60,000 a year. So again, the earnings credit only has to do with your eligibility for payment, eligibility for SSDI rather. So basically, you want to show that you are insured for Title II disability credits. Now again, using that 5 out of 10 rule, 5 years out of 10, generally when you stop working, your insurance credits run for another 5 years. So if you stop working in 2010, then your earnings, your date less insured is going to probably be sometime in 2015, because again, if it's 5 out of the last 10 years, that logically means that your earnings will remain, keep you active for SSDI for 5 years after you stop working. And one of the things that we always get when we begin working on a case is we find out what my client's date last insured is, and we have to show that disability began prior to the date last insured. So if the date last insured was 12/31/2016, I've got to prove disability began prior to that date. If I prove my client became disabled on January 3rd of 2017, that doesn't help me, because again, I've got to prove disability began before the date last insured of, in this case, December 31, 2016. Now, one thing people ask me is, well, what happens if my date last insured was 12/31/2016? I had a hearing on November 15th of 2016. The decision was issued in February of 2017. What does that all mean? It doesn't mean anything. Bottom line is, if the judge finds you became disabled prior to your date last insured, you're covered. The date last insured runs, it doesn't mean you're no longer covered. You're kind of grandfathered in, as it were. So as long as your disability began by the judge's decision prior to your date last insured, then you are covered for SSDI, and you could be covered for the next 30 years, as long as, again, it was originally determined to have started before your date last insured. So those are the main questions I get. It's a complicated topic. Some of the issues that we get into beyond this would be the 5-month waiting period for disability benefits, and what happens if my disability began way before I applied for benefits. It's 5 years before. What do I do? These are all different topics, but big picture is, for Title II disability, we need to show that your disability began prior to your date last insured. And the date last insured is a critical date we need to know when we're pursuing your disability case, because again, if your date last insured was 3 years ago, it's going to be much harder to prove it began, because medical records that are 3 years old, judges are going to be less likely to want to go into remote date last insured. And one final point about this is that sometimes people try to hang on and they work part-time for 3 or 4 years after they stop working full-time, but they don't earn enough to generate a lot of credits. We can see situations where the date last insured runs out while the person's working part-time, and so we have sort of a catch-22, because they were working to the point where a judge may decide they could have worked full-time, but the date last insured's already run. So After you stop working full-time, that's the time to look at filing for disability and talk to an attorney about working part-time and how that can impact your date last insured. But always good to know your date last insured. It's a confusing topic. It's one that you should talk about with your attorney, and we can certainly help you understand more how this works and the implications. But big picture, you want to show that you became disabled prior to your date last insured. Hope you found this helpful, not too confusing. I know it is a little bit confusing. If you have any questions, please reach out to me, try to answer those for you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook page, and give us a thumbs up if you liked it. I appreciate that. This is Jonathan Ginsberg, wishing you well. Thanks a lot. Hi, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I hope you found this video helpful. If you'd like to know more about how to win your Social Security disability case, I'd like to invite you to download my Secrets to Getting Approved Early Survival Kit that I created just for people like you. Currently, I'm making the survival kit available at no cost, and I encourage you to grab your copy now. Some of the topics I cover include: how do I know if I have a case? Is it the right time for me to file my claim? 9 common mistakes that can doom your case. The 3 must-have arguments you use to win your case. And a topic that every disability claimant wants to know: how to avoid trick questions from the judge. If you or a loved one need to win Social Security disability benefits, you'll find the Survival Kit essential reading. Download your Survival Kit right now and at no cost. Just visit ssdanswers.com/survival and sign up. It's that easy. Please act now. And as always, I wish you the best.